Hey, welcome back to my channel, Best Practice Gaming. My name is Rob, and today I'm doing more Taymry side quests here in the Rift. Feeling much better. I was pretty ill there for a little while. Haven't gotten rid of the cough yet because it's now spring here and there's pollen everywhere here in Virginia, and there's just like a green haze everywhere. If you like live here in, I'd say the majority of Virginia, except for like West Virginia where there's mountains. But here, like in the lower lands, in the Tidewater area, there's a lot of green haze everywhere. So let's take a look at our first quest here. Oh, faithful. According to some papers we got on the old mine, there should be at least one truck the workers used for hauling some of their equipment. Find it and see if you can get it to work. Alright, if I can get this to work and drive it all the way back to the garage, I'm gonna do that. If it's just one of those quests where you just fix it up and it disappears, then I've got two other quests there waiting in the wings. So let's give it a shot. Let's change to the Voron here. I'm gonna do a repair here on the truck. And then just do a refuel here. Oh, cool. Alright. Since it might just be a towing quest, so let me see if I can switch over to it. I can't switch over to it. I don't want to tow with the truck with the tools on it, because I think I have another vehicle that needs to be fixed. So I'll use the tows here. Very carefully just move this out of the way here. Actually, just going to back this up down the mountain. I try to go really slow with these trucks because I don't want them to tip over. So today's a very nice Sunday today, so I'm going to the park. I did Spark a little bit. I've been trying to do at least 4 hours on Spark a day, or at least do it a few times a week. And that's been really helpful. I can definitely recommend doing something like that. If anybody was just like looking for something extra to get by. So that's really helped me out with small stuff. And then what's the words I'm looking for? I guess I'm considered like a gig worker in a gig economy, but I think that would apply working with technology in a meaningful way. All I'm doing is just taking orders off an app. But I have no problem with it. I get to see a lot of Virginia, a lot of very beautiful areas in Virginia where there's like no Walmarts and it's just mainly countryside. And for whatever reason, people don't want to drive out of the country to Walmart. I don't really blame them, because there's like a lot of flooding in this area during the rainy season. All right, let's go over to the Tuz Warthog here. And we're going to pull this truck off the mountain and back to the service area. This is another one of those truck that rides high unless you got the mud tires on it. So I'm just being very careful here. Luckily, these model trucks here, they got the automated winch. So if they tip over, you can definitely recover them. So that's really nice. Alright, we got the step up and running here. Let's just drive slowly down the mountain here. Another way to solve this quest would have just been to tow it to the service station and take it to the little service station yellow square area, and it would have fixed it right up. The only thing I don't like about these little class of smaller trucks like the Tuz here is that they don't turn on a dime, so you gotta be really careful when turning them. And I think if like you're a new player and you pick up a truck like this and you expect it to turn, most people just end up flipping over the vehicle. I mean, that's what happened to me when I started driving this truck around. Let's see here. Go down this way and come in from that way. That's because there's like a lot of rocks here, and most of this area is like a mudslide area. So that I figured out from just doing other quests that I didn't do in my first playthrough. And this is what I was talking about being unable to turn on a dime. Like, I want the truck to follow the road, but obviously it can't do that because the wheels won't turn all the way. Not a problem with the other truck, though. And the step behind me, it's an okay truck. It's definitely not bad for the first 3 maps and maybe the next 2 maps. But later on, you get a step that just blows all the other step trucks out of the water. I think the crocodile truck's a step as well. I'll have to look at that model again to see if that's the case. Speaking of which, the crocodile's right there. And that's the mudslide I'm talking about right there. I see there's a drop off, and then there's just like a steep cliff to get across the road over there. So instead of doing that, I'll go around this way and come down here. going the wrong way here, so turn this truck around. This is also, I think I've talked about this before, but this is a problem with the rocks. They make the trucks harder to drive. There we go. Now I'm going the right way. This is probably not going to work. Oh, it worked. Alright, I thought I was going to get hung up on the tree. Sometimes that happens to trucks. They get hung up on trees. Especially when you're towing them. Make it afternoon here so I can see. Cool, that wraps up that quest here. Let's switch back to the Voron here, because I want to get it over here to help out with this quest. But that does say a repair area, so it might actually be a real repair area, and not just words. Alright, this next quest is called Pacifist. Now that is not something you see often, a repurposed armored carrier just lying out there waiting to be recovered. Seems like it might be stuck down there. Pull it out and fix it and you can keep it. This is probably another one of the quests where we just get it to the repair area. We fix it up and then it just disappears. Or maybe we'll get to drive it back. Let's find out. Hopefully Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, this wasn't going to be an easy one because I just don't have the right trucks for it, but this is what I got, so I'm going to try to make it work. That is annoying. Luckily, I've got another truck nearby to help with that. Let's see here. How can I do this? Back up here. At least get it somewhat back on its wheels. There we go. There we go. All right, it looks like cool. I've got a working TUS starter in, and it's defaulted. That just means it's just baseline. I am not going to drive this back because I already have another one of these. I might do that in the next quest line, or I might do that off screen, or I just might make a video just seeing what these vehicles can do that are just in its default state. Let's have a look at it. Well, the inside looks clean, but the outside looks really beat up. Let's take a look at the next quest here. That's actually surprising. I thought it would just fix itself and disappear. Alright. Lost and found. We're setting up a supply depot just by the lake. And one of our workers with a D? Workers D caught I'm probably saying that wrong. Caught a glimpse of an abandoned trailer up in the hills. Find it and take it to the depot. So I am over here. Going this way is not an option. Probably going this way and then cutting through and then going around is probably the much better bet. Because it's on the other side of the map, so let's get going here. I think if I'm careful, I can make it through these rocks. Cool, I made it. Nice. Let's see here. I don't want to make the same mistake again. All right, looks like I'm almost there. I just gotta get through this muddy area. All right, that is it for all the side quests here in the Rift, except for like the time quests that repeat themselves a couple of times. If you guys like what you're seeing, be sure to like and subscribe to Best Practice Gaming. Be sure to comment, hit the bell notification icon, and leave a like if you like the channel. And have a great day to everybody.